Hi, my name is Cora May, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to heal the first boss inside of Shadowmoon Burial Grounds, Sadana Bloodfury. This boss does a nasty pulsing AoE, and it's not always predictable when she's going to do it. Since this is an old dungeon, she follows some weird spell queuing rules. There are a couple rules that she does follow that I'm going to point out to you, but sometimes I still find, even when I feel like I fully understand her spell queuing, that she AoEs when I don't expect her to, and I'll get into that in a second. The key that we're going to be looking at today is from a key I did last night, which was on Tyrannical Grievous this week on a 27. So it is a pretty nasty one to try and get through. Okay, as far as how her spell queuing works. So there are basically two patterns she follows. She always starts as defaulting doing the Eclipse, which is heavy damage to your whole group and brings them all to like less than 10% HP, followed by daggers into AoE. However, after the second ad, she has the option to switch to instead doing the AoE after the ad. That's what I'm going to refer to as a double, is when she does two AoEs between one eclipse. That's basically what I call a phase, is between like an eclipse to an eclipse is one phase, and when you get two AoEs in between, that's called a double. The reason you most often get the first double, so after you kill the second ad that I found, is about, I want to say 95% of the time, if you kill the ad before she has less than 5 seconds left on her channel where she's channeling the ad, that's like basically the timer you have to kill the ad, then she's probably going to AoE into an eclipse. Now, I usually try and get this timing on purpose. It is much easier to heal this boss when she does AoE after the ad and then into the eclipse instead of eclipse into AoE. And the reason that is because eclipse into AoE, you have like less than 6 seconds between the damage, but if it does like, if it goes ad and then she does the Whispers of the Darkstar, her AoE, and then she does daggers and then the eclipse damage comes, you have like something like 15 to like 20 seconds depending before like the eclipse damage comes out, and it's just much easier to heal compared to having to top everyone out of the eclipse going into the Whispers. So the way I usually play this fight is I'm an Evoker, I have an Evoker staff. I always save my staff for the second ad, and usually, like I said, 95% of the time, that means we get the timing that I want. Now, she will not keep that timing the entire fight. There have been like 27s where I did that and she kept the good timing the whole fight. Sometimes she still switches back, and that's what's unpredictable here, and you still have to be ready for her to have the possibility of AoEing out of Eclipse. The other rule is she will never double back to back. So if she doubles one time, you can guarantee on the next one she's going to have the same timing for the Whispers of the Darkstar or the AoE, but then the one after that is when you have to look out for a double again. I hope I didn't confuse you too much with all of that, but let's get into the video and talk about how you actually heal the boss. And also, let me mute the audio so you don't have to hear my team talking. So when we pull this boss, we lust, and we also have some ads that are coming in. These ads are usually for enhancement shaman damage. So in this comp, this is the first time I think we did this. I've done this dungeon with a mage. We have a frost mage, a boomkin, and then a rogue. Normally these are really nice for enhancement shaman funnel, and they're also really nice for killing the ads. We struggle a little bit more to kill the ads without the enhancement shaman, but we also have turn evil from the prop paladin to help us out with that. And we're also just constantly calling out like, oh, the boomkin's like, oh, I have a pulsar here. The rogue's like, oh, I have, I think it's called like dance, and I'll say like I have staff, you know, trinket, whatever it is that people have to get through it. The first two Whispers of the Darkstar are very predictable, always the same. It's after the second ad when things can change, but the first two Whispers and like all of her like beginning like spell queuing, with the exception of the dagger fall, sometimes you get extra daggers phase 1 that doesn't really affect your healing, is always scripted. So she always pulls, she does daggers, and then she goes into her Whisper of the Darkstar. So I have echoes out on everyone. I also have 4 leaping flame stacks, so all I do usually on the first one, because we're in less, is I just, for to embrace someone, I'm going to press Dream Breath and then use my leaping flames. And usually we're pretty safe here because we have lust rolling and everybody has their damage cooldowns rolling. The boomkin has Incarn and Nature's Vigil on pulse, so I really don't have to work too hard here at the beginning. Thundering and the first ad are spawning, making sure you're always turning around and helping with the ad, because if that ad hits the boss, it is big trouble for you as the healer. We've had that happen before, and it was a pain in the ass to try and heal through, but we've done it. So now we're getting a little bit of bursting going into this eclipse, and so this is where tragedy is going to strike. But before I get into the tragedy, usually what I do on this first eclipse, because it's guaranteed on this one that you're going to get the Whispers straight out of it, is I always Zephyr at the end. You could also Spirit Bloom into Zephyr at the end. or Spirit Bloom and then Zephyr the AoE, but I always like to Zephyr this hit, and then I start prepping my Stasis that is going to be released about halfway through the Whispers, because like she's gonna do Whispers right out of this, so I'm still re-prepping my Stasis when she's starting her AoE cast, at least normally. So right now we have the Bones dying. We're going to get bursting during this eclipse, and also something bad is going to happen. So I press Zephyr right as it's about to go off because I want this to carry over towards the beginning of the Whispers. Although it's not hitting everyone, ideally I should have moved over here and made sure that I was hitting our Boomkin, but I did not. And then our tank dies. So our tank just got a bug. We watch it back later where like this dungeon's really old. It's just old, and sometimes it just like registers you even though you're standing on it. It's not standing on it. It's just bug. It's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. So the boss is going to automatically default to our Boomkin. He doesn't have Shadow Meld up because he used it earlier, and so I'm automatically like he's going to get aggro here. Our mage is blocked and our rogue can vanish, but he needs to res our tank. So what I end up doing that I don't normally do is end up tip the scaling a Spirit Bloom here. Normally I would just like Verdant Embrace, Dream Breath, and then start channeling Spirit Bloom because she's not going to start her AoE for another 2 seconds. So then I would have the Spirit Bloom go off like right as we start taking the damage. A lot of the Spirit Bloom healing here was not like as well used as it could have because of this, but I'm just trying to make sure that he's going to live because the boss is literally meleeing him and he has to cast res on the tank right now. So we get through that just fine. He somehow lives by some miracle. And then now we have the Whispers of the Dark Star going, and I immediately press my Stasis. I cast a Living Flame. I'm going to Temporal Anomaly, and then it just, this last tick, we're just going to live it with Golden Hour healing, basically. And that is it. We barely get through that. So this is a little bit like more sketch than usual because I normally wouldn't tip the scales here, so it's already like 1 CDM down. I'm normally trying to save like things like tip the scales, Emerald Communion, and Rewind for like emergencies, like unexpected damage, or in the case that we don't kill this next ad fast enough, because every single time you get an eclipse into a Whispers, it is so hard to help people in time and to have enough healing to get through that. Okay, so we're all alive. The next ad is spawning. So this is the one that I always, like I said, I always save my staff for this one, and we always want to kill it quickly. However, I'm the only one with damage here, so we actually are not going to kill this quickly enough, and we aren't going to get the timing that I usually want. Normally when you have an enhanced shaman, almost always get it, but here like we were not like, what was the timing on the boss? Yeah, so like normally you want to kill it like before she reaches like going below 6 seconds, and that usually, not always, like I said, like 90% of the time means that she will do Whispers of the Dark Star into Eclipse. So that is the ideal thing you want to do. We don't get to do that though because we don't have enough damage, and now we're going to get another Eclipse into Whispers. So I end up using my echoes on reversion here because they weren't about to fall off, but I'm getting another temporal anomaly, so I want to make sure I spend them before this next temporal anomaly. I'm going to Spirit Bloom here to top us coming out of it. And then I decide, I'm pretty sure I just end up Emerald Communioning this one because like coming out of Eclipse into this, and I know that like we don't have a lot of defensives left because of what just happened. I just Emerald Commune this for safety, and I will get another one at the end. We're going to clear our Thundering, and this next ad is going to spawn. So there's still the possibility out of this ad of having an AoE, and I don't know if it's going to happen or not because this isn't normally the timings that we get on this one. So we didn't get the double the last time, so there's a possibility of it here. I start putting on echoes just in case we do get it. And then we do get it, so I Verdant Embrace. The daggers fall, so normally I would like Verdant Embrace and like start channeling a Spirit Bloom, a Dream Breath, you know, something, but since the daggers fall and I have to move and I don't have tip to scales here like I normally would, I end up rewinding. Which is just what you have to do. That timing really, really sucked for us. Okay, so now we're about to get the next Eclipse, and I have a Stasis coming up again. So again, this is probably just going to be me prepping as Stasis and saving it for the next Whispers. So since we just got a double, meaning like she Eclipsed, she AoE'd. She spawned an ad, she AoE'd. I know that this next one is not going, she's not going to AoE out of this Eclipse. Like she's just not allowed to. she's going to AoE after the ad. So I know that I can take this healing a bit more slowly. So I just end up TAing in my thing, Verdant Embracing our Moonkin, and then I'm going to charge a Dream Breath. Normally, I would probably only charge it to 2, maybe 3, but since it's Grievous and I want to like just top everyone and not deal with Grievous, I'm probably going to charge it a bit more than I usually do. Yeah, I end up just fully charging it, which is fine, because you still get like a really good hot portion on here. All right, now we are getting the ad, and then out of this ad, we are getting a Whispers of the Dark Star, and I have my Stasis ready for it, so I'm not really worried about it at all. I'm just going to focus on DPSing, make sure I get out at least a Temporal Anomaly before that happens. I'm going to Verdant Embrace, and then I'm going to activate my Stasis. I didn't have to Verdant Embrace, I just usually tend to, as like extra healing going into it. We still get really, really low. We don't have anything there for that, and I need to make sure that I'm topping everyone going into this Dark Eclipse she's about to do. Yeah, our tank is in trouble. He ends up just spell wording himself because he was scared. Here, I'm Spirit Blooming, and there is a possibility that she AoEs right now. So right now, I'm kind of like looking at my CDs thinking, what am I going to do if she AoEs? Looks like she's not going to. I did have tip the scales there in case she did, though. That was like probably like the thing I would have done. The only problem was is that I wouldn't have Verdant Embrace. Like having to Verdant Embrace there to top my Boomkin going into it kind of would have screwed me there. Thankfully, I didn't get punished for it, but that definitely could have been a big mistake on my part. Oh, she does end up AoEing. Okay. I did this last night and I still don't remember it. Anyways, she ends up AoEing. So I'm pretty sure I do end up tipping the scales here, because that's just what I have available. Yeah, I don't even buff it. I don't even take the global to buff it. I just automatically send it. Looks like it is just enough healing though for us to live through it. And then now she's going to do the ad. So now we're not going to get an AoE out of this ad, but we are going to get it out of the next Eclipse for sure, guaranteed. The boss really didn't like me this pull at all. Because those are all like I think I've gotten the max amount of doubles for the most part that you can get so far. And my tank is getting absolutely destroyed. This boss's melees on your tank are illegal, like absolutely illegal. How like unprecedented, and like they're kind of unpredictable. Like it's like a tank buster kind of, but like they're unpredictable the same way that the Whispers are, because this boss is just so old. I don't quite get it. Anyways, so I just pressed Zephyr at the last second again, like I did the one before, so that we don't all drop to 10% HP here. I also popped both my defensives because I know we are getting a Whisper here. And here's the thing, so I have Stasis coming up in 2 seconds. So what I'm trying to do right now is make it so I'm gonna do like probably like a budget Stasis that I can detonate during this Whispers, just to make sure I have enough healing, because otherwise it's going to be hard to top everyone going into it and then also have healing for it, especially since I think I Verdant Embraced my tank. Yeah, I had to Verdant Embrace him to heal, and so that's going to kind of screw me over here. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, sorry about that. So since I have Verdant Embrace down, this is going to make my Stasis also bad. And the fact that it's coming up like 2 seconds after the damage goes out, so I have to kind of wait to press my bigger buttons. This one is going to probably be pretty sketchy, but that is basically the best play that I have right here, is to just like store some kind of whatever hodgepodge Stasis I can, and then detonate it in the same Whispers in order to live this. So I'm going to start Spirit Blooming. Dream Breath, like the VE came up right there. I could have VE'd into Dream Breath, and I didn't. I think I didn't see that it came up right when that was happening, but that would have been better for me to do than what I did, but it's enough for us to live, and that's what's important. So now we are getting this next ad. So if we get an AoE out of this, I might have Emerald Communion come up. But it is really sketchy if we get one here, because I've used so much. Actually, no, we got the double before, so we can't get AoE here. Duh. Yeah, okay, so it's guaranteed we don't get AoE there. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like losing count. I'm better at keeping count when I'm playing. Anyways, so we're doing Eclipse, and we're definitely going to get an AoE out of here, so I'm probably just going to be communioning this. Although I think it's kind of sketchy because the way I used my Temporal Anomaly there was not was like, it's just sketchy for me able to cast Temple Anomaly, which is why I'm starting to hard cast Echoes in case I can't get it in time. Okay, no, I do get it in time. She starts AoEing about a second earlier than I thought. I shouldn't have tried to cast a Living Flame, and my Boomkin does have to get in Bear to live. That's a little bit unfortunate. If I played that better, he wouldn't have had to. If I just been sitting there waiting for it, like sitting on my global, he wouldn't have had to do that. Okay, so now we're just committing the boss, and the boss is dead. We're just going to send this ad away, hodge it if we need to, and the boss is dead. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Good luck dealing with the unpredictability of this boss. I hope I helped you understand it at least a tiny bit better on the spell queuing and what to expect and how to prepare for when it does crazy things that you're not ready for. And good luck. Thank you.